Hey everybody, welcome into the live stream. I'm so happy to have you here with me this morning. Good morning everybody, and happy Black History Month to all of my amazing Black American entrepreneurs out there. You are missing out on over $90 billion that is on the table every year for small business grants. In this live stream, I'm actually going to dive deeper on how to win grants. So make sure you like this live stream so that way YouTube algorithm can push it out, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love an interactive chat, so if you are joining me live on YouTube, friend, hey, good morning. I hope you are having a blessed start to your Thursday morning, friend. This is literally the first week of February. I can't believe we're already in February 2026. So I hope you're having a great start to your day. If not, I'm hoping that God orders my tongue that will help you have a really great day today, okay? So I love an interactive chat, so don't be scared. Say, hey, good morning. And I want you to drop all of your grant questions and concerns and curiosities inside of the chat, because I am here with my 11 years worth of grant and writing experience. I'm a small business development coach, and I have a 71% successful grant writing rate. I travel the entire world talking about small business grants, and I've won millions of dollars in grant funding. So if you have any small business grant questions or concerns or curiosity, I want you to drop it in the chat, and I'm going to help you out, okay? Most small business owners actually don't go for small business grants because they either, one, don't know about this funding, two, they simply feel like they don't have time to apply to the grant, and also you have some people that feel like, I've applied to a grant before, I've never had a really good experience with it, so what's the point? Well, I'm here to tell you, friend, you are not wasting your time when you are going for over $90 billion on the table that you are well deserving of. You just need help on how to formulate your questions, okay? I mean, your answers. So that's fine. I'm going to help you out in this video. In my live stream videos, I also give some motivation and to help you stay, ambitious and optimistic about your entrepreneurship journey. Most of the grants that I talk about here on YouTube is for small businesses. It's important that you know what stage your company is in. You have the idea phases, which is you haven't necessarily registered your company yet, or you probably registered the company, but you don't have like a business bank account yet, right? And then you also have the startup phases. So the startup phases is when you have actually registered your company, got an EIN number, opened up a business bank account, and you are starting to grow your business. And then you have small business phase. The full small business phase is for those of you who have registered your company, you have a business website and social media channels, you also have a business bank account, and you're starting to catch sales. So you are in what's called the small business phase. There are tons of small business grants out here. So majority of the grants that I talk about on my YouTube channel is specifically for entrepreneurs and small business owners. Now, if you are a nonprofit, absolutely there is tons of nonprofit grants out here. What are you waiting for? But nonprofits have a totally different way of actually receiving revenue, so they can reinvest into community projects or whatever their entire nonprofit mission is. Now, if you guys have any questions about nonprofit grants, I'm here to answer those questions as well, okay? So let me say hey to everybody in the chat. I love that you guys are joining me, and yeah, make sure you are staying very interactive and stuff, okay? I'm so happy to have you guys with me. All right, so let me check a few things. There, I'm gonna actually bring some I need to bring up some of my screens here because I want us to go over a few things about how to go for grants and all that good stuff. Now, grants, if you've never applied to a small business grant, let me reassure you, a small business grant, you can Google it. The definition is, it is usually in the form of a reward, so usually money that you can receive from a big business. Let's say Amazon, Apple, all these big companies, right? They actually give out small business grants. So it's free money. Those type of grants that you get from big companies, the competition is going to be much higher with those type of grants. So keep that in mind. What do I mean by the competition is going to be higher? Well, if you actually Google what the actual definition of a small business grant, it says a small business grant is a reward that you can receive, usually in the form of money. Reward. So in order for you to get a reward, it has to be some sort of competition. You have to earn it, right? You don't just get rewards because, because you are just like walking on earth. Okay, that's just not how it works. So you have to earn it. So what we are going for are small business grants that are funded by big companies like Amazon, Apple, Google, and beyond. Those grants are nationwide, and that means on average they're getting about 2,000 application submissions. So you are actually going to be in competition with other businesses that might have been older than you, generating a lot more revenue than you, have more of a community impact. So keep that in mind. While I don't want to say that to discourage you, most of those grants that are nationwide opportunities that are funded by big companies like Amazon, Google, and Apple, well, those grants run like raffles. Okay, so it's kind of like, they just kind of like pick out of the pots. They pick a raffle ticket and they say, okay, number 2434. Okay, so sometimes that's how it works. And with those type of grants as well, the best analogy I can give you is like the more that you apply to those type of grants, the merrier. With grant funding, it's like there's no 100% guarantee that you will win, but there are ways that you can actually almost close to guarantee that you actually would win this particular opportunity. It's called going for high probability grants, aka going for grants that you most likely, are in favor of. Okay, and so you can find a way that you can actually, increase your chances of approvals with grants. We'll talk a little about that, a little bit later in the live stream. So you can get funded by big companies like that. State and local governments actually give out small business grants as well. So the federal government actually funds your state, and your state actually allocates those funds to small towns and cities and counties. So that way you guys can have equal small business opportunities like grants and loan opportunities. So that way you can use that funding to continue your operations and also do things like hire more people for your payroll, invest into your quality of service and products, things like that, okay? Now, you would actually find those particular grants by visiting grants.gov, or you can do a simple Google search and say, grants for my trucking business for a woman entrepreneur based out of New York. Okay, and then it will bring up a list of foundations that actually fund grants, that the state actually funds those programs. And you would go through each foundation and program to see if you qualify for those particular programs that they currently have open that has been state funded. Now, with state funded small business grants, you actually have a higher chance at winning because the competition pool is much more limited, right? So it's not an opportunity that is nationwide for all small business owners across the United States. These state funded grants are only specifically for that particular state, city, town, or county, or zip code, okay? So it narrows down the competition. I myself, I have a lot more experience actually, personally with going for grants in my state, right? And in my county, I got approved to a Broward County grant for it was like $10,000, and for that particular grant opportunity, it was 3 of us that won, and we came to find out that there was not much, applications that was being submitted. That also reminded me and reassured me that a lot of people in the Broward County area, or in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or Miami-Dade County in Miami, Florida, that a lot of entrepreneurs actually don't know about small business grants, or they do know about them. They just simply don't know how to find them and how to make sure that they have submitted the grants correctly. So I decided to use the grant funds to continue to scale my business. And here I am traveling the world, and I currently live in West Africa. Thank God. Okay, all glory be to God. State funded grants will give you a higher chance at winning. Those grants are more like first come, first serve opportunities. So I highly recommend that you actually go for those opportunities first before going for these big time company grants, company funded grants that I talk about on my YouTube channel. Okay, so that's just a little nugget for you. What else do I have to say? So you have that, and then you can also get a grant from other private foundations and other investment corporations that give out grant opportunities. So let's say, for example, I Fund Women. I Fund Women is a funding company that literally funds women entrepreneurs. They offer loan programs, and they also offer grant programs as well. You have Hello Skip. Hello Skip does a monthly $10,000 grant opportunity. Hello Skip is a certified nonprofit organization that actually helps small business owners develop. They are a resource tool. You can actually download their app. You can sign up for Hello Skip today. It's for free, and you can actually use my invite code Superior Shelby all together. All right, and you'll have access to a dashboard of grants that you can possibly qualify for. On their app, they actually have a place where a dashboard of funding that you can go for. Okay, it's an entire business development resource app. So you have that, and then also you can get funded by other private corporations, right, that want to give out funding that's going to help them out on the back end with their taxes. Okay, so there will always be a small business grant available no matter what's going on economically, because it does help those businesses with taxes on the back end, and it also helps those businesses who are giving out the grants. We call them grantors. It helps them with their business reputation. Imagine being a company, like MailChimp, and you are looking to get as many people to use your platform, right, your SaaS. And MailChimp, if you guys don't know what it is, MailChimp is an email marketing tool that you can use. They also help you set up email set automations and all that stuff, right? So it's specifically for small business owners, and professionals, and that's what MailChimp is. So if you want to get a lot more businesses and companies to use your platform and to learn more about your platform, well, giving out a grant is actually going to really help raise the awareness about your service and your product. And it's also going to show that you are committed to your clientele, right? Because you're literally giving money back, and you're also giving out what's called in-kind services. You might see this word when you are actually searching for grants as well. You might find that there are some grants out here that only give out resources, in-kind services, and networking opportunities. Those are still really good grants to go for. I myself, I've applied to the I Fund Women Poker Power Grant last year. It was a $100,000 grand prize, grant opportunity. They were only choosing one winner, but with my experience, I was not chosen. But I had a community of over 100 people that I was actually able to market my businesses to, and out of those 100 people, I was actually able to close 2 really good clients that they are still my clients to this day, okay? And they're high ticket clients. So I'm really happy that I actually joined that community, because I actually got sales from being a part of that community. I also supported others that was a part of the community, and as well as I got resources that helped me out with developing my pitch for when I'm going for investment capital. So if you guys don't know, I'm building a platform called Grantfully, which is a grant search engine that allows you to find grants. You can add a grant to your cart and have an experienced grant writer on my team actually apply to a grant for you for just $30. So because I'm building an affordable grant writing platform as well as a grant search engine, aka kind of like a SaaS as well, I'm looking for investment capital, and it costs a lot of money to build a tech platform for that. Well, I needed the resources and the education on how to strengthen my pitch and to be professionally prepared for those type of pitch competitions or pitch meetings that I'm going to have with investors, right? So by me applying to that particular grant program, I actually got access to all the in-kind services and the resources that they actually offered. So you are never wasting your time when you're actually applying to a grant. Even if you are not the grand prize winner, take advantage of the community that they have. Most grant opportunities have a community that you can join and market your business, okay? They never say don't market your business, so go for it, okay? It's direct information. It's direct. So you guys got it? All right, so let's move forward. I want to say, hey, good morning to everybody. Good morning, friend. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for consistently being here. I pray that God gives you all of the abundance of finances that you need to be able to keep pushing your business forward. Hi, Dennis. Thanks so much for being here with me. Or Denise, sorry. And I messed that name up so bad. That's so crazy. And hi, Nicole. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here with me. You guys, make sure you like the live stream as you are coming in. All right. So, you know what a grant is? A grant is free money that you can receive. I also want to reassure you that grants do not check your personal credit, so you don't have to worry about having a good credit report. You don't have to worry about providing any of your personal information like a social security number. You don't have to worry about that stuff. They simply want to know, do you have a business plan that is good enough, that's going to work out, okay? So that's what it's all about. So you know what a grant is: free money that you can get, and also resources that you can receive. Okay, so that's really good. What else is it? So I find these grants, my favorite grant search engine right now, friend, is actually grantwatch.com. I'll put it here in the chat for you. Grantwatch.com. You can actually access grantwatch.com. Before you go to grantwatch.com, hold on, friend, before you go, um, grantwatch.com does require you to pay $50 a month in order to have access to the information of the grant that you're viewing. So you will not be able to have like the application link to the direct application link to apply to that grant, or like the qualification, like the requirements and stuff. They won't show you the details of that grant unless you actually subscribe. It is a monthly subscription, okay? So I'm letting you know that. So if you're going to apply to grants yourself, um, you can visit grantwatch.com, and you know, you can go ahead and sign yourself up. Okay, I don't have an invite code, but yeah, you can sign yourself up. Okay, I love grantwatch.com. It has been the trusted grant engine, search engine so far until my search engine drops, which is gratefully. So after you have found a grant, right, using grantwatch.com or Hello Skip or any other site that you're able to find, grants.gov, using a Google search or even using ChatGPT, you want to make sure you create your own grant list for the month. So create a spreadsheet of a list of grant links for yourself, so that way you can just apply to one grant a day. It doesn't have to be so much pressure on yourself. If you are a person that actually does not have the time to search for grants, sit down and apply to them, go through the qualifications, reassure yourself, collect the documents, and do all of that good stuff, because sometimes it's more than just submitting the application, friend. Then that's okay. I do offer the affordable service to actually submit a grant application for you. And right now, I'm doing a Grantfully service sale. All right, a Grantfully grant writing service sale for just $37 per grant application. I will apply to submit the application for you for just $37. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and scan this QR code at the top, and you can go ahead and you can have access to that. I actually put a list of grants there for you, so you can select grants, whichever grant that you want me to submit for you. Okay, there's like some nationwide grants on that link that you go to. All right. Nicole says I need to call you. Okay, girl, give me a call, or give me a call, or just schedule a consultation with me. But Nicole, I would love for you to like have like any questions that you have. Like if you can drop them in the chat, that would be really good too, because I'm hoping that I can give you some clarity here for free. Okay. But if you want to have a one-on-one consultation with me, it is $50, so I can give you that code as well. All right. I'll put my number here in the chat for those of you who don't know. If you are interested in doing the $37 grant writing, submission sale, then you can always text the word Grantfully to my number 855-731-1487. I will send you the direct link. Only text this number if you have the $37 and you're ready to move forward. Okay. Only text the number if you have the $37, you're interested in me submitting a grant opportunity for you, and you are ready to go today. Because listen, I have to pay for these text messages, friend. Okay. It ain't easy out here for us. All right, so let's move forward. After you have found grants, a lot of these grant applications, they're going to ask you some really direct questions to get to know more about your business and your business mission, how much money you need, and how you're actually going to use this money. They want to know exactly step by step how you're going to invest this money and how it's going to be impactful to your community that you're actually serving. And they're not wrong. A grant is a reward that you can get. You have to earn the reward, and you have to give them a reason for why your business idea or your small business is truly deserving of this free money. Some of you might say, oh, this is too much work. Like, I did not sign up for this. But it is so worth the work and effort that you put in. You'll be surprised that when you are answering the questions on the grant applications, it actually intrigues you, and it starts to get your mind to think in a direction that you probably wasn't like even thinking about, right? It gets your helps you build strategy, helps you critically think more, all right? So actually submitting grant applications is not a waste at all, okay? It's so worth it. And just imagine, like 89% of small businesses, they don't go for grant opportunities. That's not because it's like, oh, because like nobody wins them. No, absolutely not. That's incorrect. There is definitely people out here that are winning grants. Okay, I showed you the other day of some previous grant winners that they posted, and they had like a whole pitch video. there's people out here winning these grants, right? If you want to continue to be a part of the 89%, go ahead. You can, be my guest. You can just go ahead and be a part of that class. But for those of you who are actually, interested and you want to move forward, and you are a part of that smaller percentage of submitting grant applications, well, good for you, good for us actually, because the more opportunities we have for us, right? Awesome. All right, so any questions before I move forward, before we get diving more into how to make sure you are choosing high probability grants and all that good stuff. I'm actually trying to bring all this stuff up. I usually get this frequently asked question, so I'll go ahead and answer them really quick if you're typing them, so just kind of listen really quick. The first frequently asked question that I get is, how do I find grants? I already told you, you can visit grantwatch.com. That's the grant search engine that you can use. It is $50 a month or $22 a week. You can go ahead and use that to find grants. And then once you find grants that you are interested in, go ahead and create your own spreadsheet. And so that way you can just apply to grants as you go. Another frequently asked question I get is, how do you get prepared for a grant opportunity? My best advice that I give you, and I'm going to go over 7 steps to properly prepare your business for small business grants, but the best way that I can actually answer that is by explaining to you guys how important it is that you go through the actual application first before you decide to submit it. That is going to save you a lot of time. Grant tip, make sure you clip this, all right? A grant tip for you is to actually go through the small business grant application first before you submit the application. Why? It saves you so much time and hassle of trying to collect the documents at the end of the day or towards the deadline date. And before you know it, once you collect the documents like a business plan, a pitch deck, or you actually record a pitch video that looks good enough, you might actually miss out on the deadline. Some of these grants are also first come, first serve opportunities. So if you are not within that first pool of 100 people going as far as in application submissions, well, you might actually, decrease your chances of approvals or getting that opportunity. So it's very important that you go through the grant application first to reassure yourself of what this application or what this grant program is requesting, and then prepare your documents, and then move forward with actually completing the application in its entirety and submit all the documentations that you can provide. I went over a grant yesterday that required you to have things like a profit and loss statement, a bank statement, an executive summary, and a pitch, like a 2-minute or 4-minute pitch video. You guys, I did a short video on it as well, so it is coming out, I think, today or tomorrow. Well, friend, if you are asking yourself, should I or do I have to provide all of that information? Yeah, you do. All right. The more information that you provide for a grant opportunity, the better. And from my 11 years of experience, I'm telling you, your competition is providing all the documentation necessary. So you need to show up and show out for your business and show that you are professionally prepared for debt-free money. You don't have to worry about paying back. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go over 7 ways that you can actually get your business prepared for grants. And then I'll also answer a frequently asked question I've been seeing in my comments. Can I use AI to help me with answering my grant questions? Ooh, it's going to be good, right? So without further ado, let's no longer allow ourselves to be a part of that, be a part of that class of 89% that doesn't apply to grants, okay? All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen here really quick. Cool beans. All right, so this is 7 steps to properly set your business up for small business grants. So you definitely, if you can screenshot, but either way, this is a recording, so of course you can always come back to it. All right, so number 1, you need to make sure your business is registered fully. You are going to have, and you're going to see that there are more grant opportunities for small businesses that are actually registered. Registering your company is getting your LLC or your INC, And you need to register your business through your state. All right, so you can use tools like what is it, Taylor Brands, which I'm not a Taylor Brand fan, but Taylor Brands, LegalZoom, or you can go directly through your state corporations. But you need to register your company. That is number one. All right. Most grants require proof that you are a legitimate business entity. File your business with your state and get an EIN from the IRS and ensure your business name is unique and available. Post your articles of organization and EIN letter as a foundational document in your grant folder. As we are going over the 7 things that you need to have, these are also the 7 documentations that you should have in what's called a separate grant folder. Everybody needs to create their own separate grant folder so you can already have the documentation in a safe place, in an organized place folder where you can just go directly to that folder and just have access to everything. The grant folder needs to have things like pictures, videos, testimonials, obviously your registration documents like your LLC and EIN, bank statements, right? All of that good stuff, profit and loss statements, recent tax returns. You need to have all of that information inside of your grant folder or your funding folder in general. All right, whether you are going for grants, loans, lines of credit, credit cards, whatever have you, investment capital. This needs to all be in a documented folder so that way you can be, organized and professional and ready to go. All right. Moving forward, establish a business bank account. All right. So yes, everyone needs to have a business bank account. There is no way you'll be able to get a grant funded if you do not have a small business bank account. They will not put the grant funds of $100,000 into your personal account that says Shamika Brown. They're not going to do that, friend. They're not doing it, Nicole. They're not doing it, Denise. They're not doing it, y'all. They're not, okay? They're not doing it, friends. You have to have a business bank account. Grant funders want to see where the money will go and prove that you are separating personal and business finances. This is why they want to only fund, also for tax purposes too. The grantors have to file taxes showing how much money they have given out in charitable rewards and gifts. So, they have to show and have proof, like a paper trail showing that they have actually funded businesses, not personal accounts. Open a bank account under your business name using your EIN and registration documents. I get this question all the time. What's the best bank to go with? I like Chase Bank, all right? But there are different banks around that and fintech banks that you guys can go for, like the Brex account. I don't know if you guys have heard about them. I like Chase. Chase, there's different accounts that you can go for, so make sure you are very aware of that. There is some where I think the one I have is you have to have a minimum of like $500 to $1,000 in the account, or you will experience bank fees. So be mindful of that. But I like Chase. No cyber issues, no fraud issues at all, and they allow me to use that bank account on an international basis. So I like Chase Bank. Okay, JP Morgan Chase is also a bank that literally invests into real estate, stocks, and so much more. So if I had to go for a loan opportunity, honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with having access to it. Okay, access to that type of funding. The thing about credit unions is it's member funding. So the members are actually the ones who are funding the loan opportunities. So you might see that there might not be a lot of loan opportunities for local credit unions. Okay, so I'm just letting you know. But I like Chase Bank. Haven't had any issues so far. Number 3, create a simple yet strong business plan. Every business needs to have a business plan. Even when you are in your idea phases, this is where you actually need to create your business plan, pitch deck, and your pitch video. A business plan shows like strong goals, mission, your vision, exactly how you plan to develop your business within the next 5 years. Now, if you can't think 5 years ahead in your business, then I need you to actually sit down and think about it because you might not be ready for this entrepreneur game. And I'm no longer cutting my tongue with that. I'm going to be very direct. There are businesses out here that are literally thinking forward within the next 20 years. So how are you and I'm not giving you grace about this. You have to think forward. All right. Forward thinking is very needed in entrepreneurship, and you have to be very disciplined and willpower to stay on that journey. Now, your business plan needs to outline exactly what the expected timeline of reaching your goals is. It also needs to explain what your like your revenue goals will be, and what's your how much money do you have to spend for your business, right? So you need to have like financial statements inside of your business plan. One needs to be specifically about revenue. So how are you going to gain revenue? So that's where you list your services and products and different ways that your business is going to be able to receive income. And then you need to have another document inside of your business plan that expresses what your business expenses are. If you are a business who has already been operating at least 2 years or at least 1 year, and you have already filed your business taxes, you definitely need to have a profit loss statement inside there, and what your taxes look like. That needs to be inside of your business plan as well. You can use like AI and stuff that will help you calculate those things as well. I'm not sure and confident that AI will be able to like professionally and nicely like organize it and put it together. But you can most likely get the information that you need. Just review the AI information, because keep in mind that not everything that AI spits out is 100% guaranteed to be right, okay? Many grant applications require your goals, growth plan, and financials do include your mission, products and services, market research, revenue model, and how you'll use the grant funds. Tailor your business plan slightly for each grant to highlight alignment with their mission. So instead of doing the entire business plan, you can always do that directly just with the executive summary. Your first page of your business plan needs to be what's called your executive summary. It's usually a one-page, one pager of your business plan. Like I said, the first page that tells us about your company, what the mission is, what the vision is, who you're serving, and like why. So that is like the executive summary. You can always tailor that for specific grant opportunities, so that way the business plan aligns with that particular grant opportunity. All right. When your business can show that your business mission aligns with the grant's mission, you actually increase your chances of approvals. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Why not? Why should we not fund this company? Because they are literally doing the mission that we want to fund. Okay. So tailoring sometimes your business plan or your executive summary that aligns, and your grant answers on the grant application actually helps you with increasing your chances with approvals when you're actually tailoring it to align with the missions. But before you do all of that work, keep in mind, like once I said before earlier in this live stream, please make sure you go through the grant application first to see if the application even requires you to submit a business plan at this time. Okay. All right, number 4, develop a digital presence. In 2026, in these digital times, even you yourself, you are actually watching me on YouTube. YouTube has been around for decades, okay? And it's like the world's #1 streaming platform, all right? So you are even watching me on YouTube. If I didn't have a YouTube and a digital presence, you actually would not trust my information that I'm telling you, friend. So you yourself as a company owner, it's very important that you have a digital presence. No matter how many followers you do or do not have, that does not matter at all. That doesn't mean that you are not making sales or you are not getting any type of engagement on the outside, okay? In most cases, you would actually build your business off of the internet, but having a digital presence makes your business look even more reputable, professional, and it shows that you are like with the times, okay? So you need to have a digital presence. Funders will Google you, all right? An online presence builds credibility. I highly recommend all of you to have a Google business profile. It is free. You can visit googlemybusiness.com and sign your business up. Please make sure you have that. That's one of the first things you need to do when you are actually setting up your business, when you are in the idea phases or the startup phases. So you should have a digital presence through Google. Of course, you should have a website, even if it's just a AI-driven website, right? If you don't have a website, you can always reach out to me. I have a team, my entire team, they actually create websites as well, right? Very affordable. But you need a website for sure, no matter what you're selling. Even if it's something like e-commerce, you just kind of need to tell us exactly what your e-commerce store is about. Every e-commerce store needs to have like some sort of theme. So if you're selling like, let's say, home goods, you should have a website. It could be a one-pager, or it could be a separate website, specifically a store that shows all of the home goods and the same exact products, if not more products on your own website versus what you put on your Amazon store account or Shopify, okay? So yes, you need to have a website. You need to have a LinkedIn. You need to have an Instagram business page and a Facebook business page, and you need to have all of them. All right. In 2026, everybody is everywhere on every platform. So you need to be on those platforms as well. So it's very important that you are marketing yourself through those platforms as well, too. So, yeah. Make sure you have brand consistency on all of your social media accounts and with your digital presence. That's very important. I don't want to see a picture of you going to Cozumel, Mexico on a trip, and then like then you post that like on your Instagram, or you post it on your Facebook, and then like your LinkedIn has all these think pieces that don't even make sense and align with your business mission. And then you have on your let's say on another social media channel, you're trying to tell us, how that you create candles and stuff. It's just like all of that. You need to make sure you have brand consistency. Your logos need to be everywhere. And the same mission that you are standing on business with, it needs to be everywhere as well. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, organization. Organize key documents. Organize key documents in a grant folder. Like I said, everyone should have a grant folder. Grants move fast. Having your paperwork ready saves a lot of time. So you need to have your business registration, your EIN number, an operating agreement if you have an LLC. So you need to have that. A business plan, a pitch deck. A pitch deck is literally the PowerPoint version of your business plan. It's kind of like these slides I'm going through here. You can create one using Canva, just like I did with this one. Profit and loss or startup cost sheet. That's very important. Photos, links, or brochures. Any screenshots of any, client testimonies, and text message screenshots of how good your products and services are. You need to have that inside of that folder too. Okay. Number 6, gather proof of impact, which is very important. Like I just said, collect testimonials, case studies, data, and photos and videos. In 2026, all of the funding opportunities are going to require you to show what's called traction. Traction is when you are able to show growth in your business. It's not always about making sales. However, if you are making sales and you're growing in those sales, then that does increase your chances of approvals with grants, because they see that you actually have a product and service that is impactful and that people believe in. And then they know for a fact that you will be able to use this funding, to be able to help you continue to be impactful and to grow. So it shows that you do have a need for the grant just by making sales. But if you are not making sales, that's okay. You can do things like, give out samples and then collect testimonials based off of your sample products that you gave out to your neighbors, friends, and family. You can do like small case studies. So if you are selling, let's say, a skincare product for eczema prone clients, and you are doing like a case study that's going to be before and after, and you've noticed that you've been able to clear up somebody's eczema and their dark spots within 3 weeks. Well, that's a case study, right? So that's showing growth. Another one is how, like, building your email list, right? Building your email list, your social media channels, all of those things is ways that you can actually show traction. So number 6 is gathering proof of impact, because on the grant application, they also want to know how impactful is your business. So you being able to show and explain to them that you have a testimonial, or you can actually tell a time when you actually help that client that has eczema prone skin, and you were able to help clear the eczema within 3 weeks using like natural herb products from, let's say, here in West Africa. Well, you explaining that story is actually going to really like make your answer very strong. It's going to show like how impactful your business is, really going to help you increase your chances of approvals for sure. Grantors want evidence that your business creates real results. Proof of impact separates you from applicants who only promise outcomes but can't back them up. Have you been actually saying in your grant applications, oh, we will do this or we can do that, but you actually don't have anything to back that up? Well, in 2026, you might as well hang it up, because they are no longer looking for that. There are some grant programs that are actually using AI to choose their winners. So what you say in these grant applications, what you say as an answer, is actually going to determine if you are the candidate that should just move to the next step. So it's very important that if you say, we plan to do this, or we are going to do this, or we can do this with the help of this grant. No, they actually want to know tell us a time when you help out a client and it was impactful. Tell us a time where you did something for your community where the business did something for the community, and it worked out. Okay. Last but not least, craft a 90-second pitch, elevator pitch. Yesterday, I talked about the importance of having a pitch video. A pitch video is essentially where you're talking about what you do, who you serve, why now, right? So why is your product and service needed right now? And how the funding will actually help. So having a 90-second pitch video is really, really going to help you increase your chances of approvals. You're going to notice that a lot of the grants that I even talk about now at the beginning of 2026 are requiring you to actually upload a 1-minute pitch video. All right, so do a pitch video, friend. And if you're not confident in actually recording a pitch video, put that down in the chat, because I want to make sure I help you guys through that, fear. Scare money don't make no money, friend. And so if you are going to be afraid of actually talking about how amazing your product and service is, honey, we have a lot more consulting and coaching that we need to do. All right, we got mindset coaching that we might need to do so we can motivate you to go hard or go home. All right, you can sit on the bench and keep the bench warm while the rest of us is playing on the field. So just being very direct about it, okay, friend? You can't be afraid. A 90-second pitch video, and with us knowing who the actual founder is, so you recording it yourself always looks better as well. Even if you say something for like 5 seconds in the video, and then the rest of the video can be an employee of yours, or the partner. The main founder needs to show face. All right, it always looks good. Okay, these are the 7 things that you actually need to have when we are talking about going for small business grants. When you have all of these documents that we talked about here in this particular portion of the live stream, it is going to truly help you be professionally ready and prepared for grant opportunities. Okay, you are trust me, you're going to be ready to go. Don't wait until you see the grant. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay, friend, that's what that means. Create a grant ready checklist and update it monthly so you're always prepared when the right grant opportunity appears. Okay, so I did tell you earlier in this live stream, when you visit grantwatch.com, create a spreadsheet of grants, and you can always update it monthly so you can just apply to 1 grant a day. Create that grant folder so you can always be prepared and you don't have to go around in your downloads trying to find different documents and wasting time. Hire me to write grants for you. You can book a one-on-one consultation call by number, and my information is right here. Okay, if you want to book a consultation call, just text #grants to my phone number. I'll also put the QR code in the top right-hand corner in just a minute for a one-on-one call. Right now, you can scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner, and you can have me submit a grant application for you for just $37. Okay, so that's that. All right. Any questions about what I went over? All right, let's see. How do I set up a consultation with you? Okay, I'll go ahead and say text #grants to this number, 731-1487. It is $50, so I'm letting you know right now. All right. Don't text #grants unless you're ready to move forward and you have the $50 grants. I'm respectfully saying that because I do have to pay for text messages to send back to you. Okay, on average, you guys want to know, being a business owner is not easy. You're going to get to a point where you're going to have to purchase your business phone number. I've had my phone number for years now, and on average, every month, how much I spend on sending text messages back between current clients I have and you guys, I definitely spend a good $500 a month, close to that. Okay, just on text messages alone. That's not including phone conversations, which is why I don't have phone conversations. I don't accept phone calls because that even costs more. So that's if you guys want to know more about what that looks like and what my business what I have to go through, just let me know. I'm more than willing to tell you all of what my business expenses are. Okay, so you can know what it looks like when you get to this level of being a business. So I'm only saying that with respect because, I am definitely doing my best this year in 2026 to kind of limit the costs because I want us to actually get grant fully rolling. Okay. So how do I set up a consultation with you? You can go ahead and Texas number, I've definitely spelled grants wrong, so maybe I should say, hold on. Text grants, hashtag grants to 855-731-1487. You can text me, and then I will send you the direct Calendly link to go ahead and schedule a time that's best for you and I. So another question that I have is, may one have a business that is American and Africa? Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Like, yeah. So what happens in America doesn't happen in every other country. So whatever you do in America, it stays in America. Whatever you do in Africa, in the continent, depending, like, it stays in this continent. Keep in mind that Africa is not a country. So whatever country you decide to stay in the continent of Africa, that stays in that country. So whatever you do in Nigeria, if you build a Nigerian-based business, then that's just a Nigerian-based business. Simple. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions before we move forward? I'm really enjoying our conversation. I really do appreciate you guys being with me. You guys are awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. So while you're texting your questions, I do get this other frequently asked question about, like, should I use or can I use AI? I'm going to go over the pros and cons. Let me say this. One of my colleagues or my peers, they actually, do this class where you can, like, I think it's like a 5-day course or whatever, and you can, like, learn about, like, how to use AI and prompt AI and all that good stuff. I thought about doing that, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know if my audience is, like, if you guys are hip to, like, using ChatGPT and stuff, or if you guys are totally against it. I don't know what side of the fence you're on, so just let me know. But I do get this frequently asked question: should I use AI to write grants for me? Can I use AI to submit a grant application? Um, so I'm going to tell you the pros and cons about using AI, and then you can determine if you want to use AI or not. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you, no, don't use AI with your answers. I'm not going to tell you, yeah, sure, it's A-okay. And the reason why is because there are some grants out here that don't want you to use AI, and so what they do is they will scan your grant application in an AI detector, and once they find out that you have used AI to submit your grants, they will completely throw away your application, right? They won't even consider you. Um, then you have some that are like, okay, we don't mind it, right? It say cuts down time, we don't mind it, but we still want to know the actual founder's story. So there's going to be certain things and keywords, not keywords, but there's going to be a certain flow of how your answers need to be in order for you to explain your story. And on those grants, you'll be able to see that they're going to directly ask you, tell us a time when, or tell us what made you want to get into this particular, business. And so those type of grants, they are actually looking for an answer directly from you. It doesn't have to be super professional with all these buzzwords, right? But they just want to know directly from you as the founder. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to go over the pros and cons of actually using AI for your business. Okay. Should AI write grants for you? Here's the pros and cons to using AI for grant writing and winning grants. Okay. So first of all, how AI this is how AI can actually help you with grant writing. And this is how I would actually use it, okay? If you are using ChatGPT, DeepSeek, whatever your tool you're using, this is how I would use it. You can use it for brainstorming and clarity. So AI can help founders express complex ideas clearly. So let's say you come across a grant question that's using some really high key buzzwords and vocabulary words. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. I'm not. So sorry. So I hope you guys can see that. Maybe I should make it a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. So there might be a question that you come across that you don't really know how to answer. You can use AI to actually help give you clarity and understanding of exactly what that grant application or what that grant question is asking and requiring of you in your answer, okay? Organization, all right? Use ChatGPT to structure sections. So your need, problem, solution, and impact. So you can use AI to help you organize your answers. So that will be good. Editing and polishing. So improve your grammar, flow, and tone consistency. So you have some AI tools like Grammarly, right? That will help you out with your grammar and all of that good stuff, the entire flow of your answer. Grant research. You can summarize eligibility requirements and keywords from funders. So sometimes you can take the link of that particular grant and paste it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what is this grant? Who is this grant looking to fund? Does my business that sells cleaning products for auto care for cars, right? Does my grant mission align with this? Does my business mission align with this grant mission? And then ChatGPT will actually tell you if you should actually apply to that grant or not. Okay, so to give yourself reassurance and clarity, and if you have a high probability or a high chance at actually winning that grant, or if you should go for it, you can use AI for that. Idea testing. Ask AI, does the problem statement sound fundable? So if they're asking you what is the business challenge, what is the challenge that you're having right now in your business, you can always put your answer inside of ChatGPT and you can let them know that you're applying to a specific grant, and then it will reassure you if your answer sounds good enough to move forward, okay? AI is like your junior grant assistant. It can help organize your genius, but not replace it. So at the end of the day, the grantors want this information to come directly from you. They want to know what your ultimate mission is and vision is, and your interest is in your business. Okay, so they want to know your story. Here's the cons of it. The risk of letting AI write it all. For number one, loss of authenticity. Reviewers read thousands of applications. They can spot, copy, and paste text. If you are thinking that, oh, it's okay for me to copy the question directly from the grant application, paste it into ChatGPT, allow ChatGPT to write my answer based off of the information I told it about my business, and I'm going to copy the answer that ChatGPT gives me and paste it inside of the grant application, that is a big no-no. Because they're going to use AI tools to actually review your grant applications. And once the AI detects that you have used AI to answer your questions, then they're not going to allow you to move forward, okay, in the approval process. So loss of authenticity, it's not authentic. Fabricated details, which is a really big one. AI might invent data, partnerships, or demographics. So some of these answers that you guys might not see. Okay, so an example that I can give you is a grant application might be asking you, tell us the traction that you have made, or what traction can your business show since starting, right? Since operation. If you copy and paste that into ChatGPT, ChatGPT is going to create this whole story that's actually not true. It's going to say that you have been able to scale your, and this is an example, you've been able to scale your LinkedIn followers from 0 to 10,000 within 30 days. You have been able to get about 1,000 sales within your first 90 days of operations. It's going to create all of this statistics and data that's actually not true, and you're actually lying. So fabricated details is a big no-no as well. Generic tone. AI often writes safe, bland sentences that don't stand out at all. So yeah, the buzzwords and the high key vocabulary words is not what they're looking for in your grant applications at all. They want to hear that you sound like an actual human. And we know that AI has a challenge with that, right? Detection tools. Many funders run AI content checks like plagiarism softwares, especially Zero GPT is like the number one that they use. So You want to make sure that you know you understand the risk of actually using AI for answering your grant questions. Okay, if 5 people use ChatGPT to answer why is your business unique, all 5 will sound identical. That's a red flag to the grant reviewer. All right, they literally do sound identical. By me being a grant writer, and I write grants for a lot of companies, and with different stages, I write grants for 30-year-old companies, startups, small businesses who have been in business for the last 2 years and they're generating revenue. I can ask Chat. Now I've actually tested this. I can ask ChatGPT the question, what makes your business unique, and I promise you, it uses the same exact vocabulary words. It just changes the name of the business, and it's just the flow is literally the same. So that it's very important for you to keep that in mind when you are using AI to actually help you write grants. So the reviewer's perspective. Let's talk about what it looks like when the grantor is actually reviewing your grant application when you have actually used AI. Whether you have used AI or not, I'm sorry, but this is what they're looking for and how it looks on their end. Reviewers score based on alignment, clarity, and authenticity. All right. So those are the top 3 things that they're looking for. Alignment means, does your business mission align with the grant mission itself? Clarity, have you clearly told us the have you clearly explained what your business does, right? So can we clearly have an idea of what you do? And authenticity, all right? It has to sound genuine, right? Why did you start this business? Your entire tone of your answers need to be authentic. They want to hear your story, so why you and why now, all right? So that's important for you to answer your questions from your point of view. AI can't replace your emotional connection to the mission. And the best grant apps read the best grant applications read like, this founder has lived the problem they're solving. So what I mean by that is they want to know what made you so interested and intrigued in starting this business. A lot of people start their businesses, and a lot of businesses that actually are like still afloat since 2020, since COVID, they started those businesses based off an experience they had. So I remember one grant winner that I applied to a grant for. She actually started a skincare brand company for her and her son. Her son had like a really bad skin condition, and she couldn't find products that either would not irritate her son's skin, and or the products was not affordable, right? So she created the product herself at home by doing a lot of research. She actually gave that product out as a sample. She actually started during COVID, and so she has an experience that she was able to tell, a story that she was able to tell, and also show traction while telling that story. And the reasons for why she actually developed that skincare brand. Right now, she's a multi-million-dollar company, and she's doing absolutely amazing. Okay, it's a Black-owned company. So they want to know, why did you do it? For those of you who are literally in business just for money, there's nothing wrong with that, but you still need to have some sort of mission behind it. If you're getting into trucking, so you need to explain, why did you get into, why are you getting into trucking? They are looking for someone who's into this particular industry, that the trucking industry has been around for forever. Okay, so they want to know how do you plan to be innovative and be impactful to the trucking industry. You understand? You can say, from my experience, I grew up. My father drove trucks. My grandfather drove trucks, and I've always loved trucks since a little kid. You can tell a time when your favorite Christmas was when you got the Hess Express trucks for Christmas, right? And how you would always play with toy trucks, and then you always knew that you wanted to get your CDLs to be a truck driver. You also got your CDLs at the age of, let's say, 18 or 19. You started driving trucks for other companies, and you started to learn more about how the company is being operated. And then from that day forward, you can talk about how you've actually noticed some inconsistencies in the trucking world, that you would actually like to bring innovation to help close the gap of those inconsistencies, which will allow you to be more effective and efficient in the trucking world, or in your loads and stuff, right? And to be more affordable. So you need to have a storyline that's like that. Another example that I can give is, let's say you are getting into like childcare. Let's say you want to open up your own child daycare facility simply because you remember how you were treated when you grew up and you went to after school care and you loved your child care facility that you went to when you were younger, and you want to give that same exact feeling and vibe and old school teaching that you learned when you were young to these this new age of children, and you know how important it is to grow and to guide our youth because they are the ones, they're the next generation, right? So you want to give like a story of like why you got into it. They want to know what's going on, like why did you even get into this business industry? Okay. So yeah, I want you to comment in the chat. Have you ever used AI in a grant application? Let me know right now in the chat. Have you ever used AI for your grant application? Let me know right now in the chat. I love an interactive chat. I don't like for us to be too quiet in here, okay? We're gonna wrap up the live stream, but we are right now at the Q&A part of the live stream. So I wanna know, have you ever used AI in a grant application? Let me know right now, chat. Have you ever used AI for a grant application? The only way I've actually used AI for a grant application, excuse me, is like I said, just to give clarity on exactly what they're asking for. Because sometimes they use these vocabulary words or they word the question where I'm like, what are you saying? So yeah, we have one friend that says yes, 80%. When you say 80%, I want to know like what that looks like. Okay. Do you think reviewers should actually allow it as well? All right. So yes, 80%. That's cool. Be mindful of the pros and cons of using AI. So keep that in mind. If you have been using 80%, like if you have been using AI for 80% of your grant applications and you haven't gotten approved to one, maybe we should start leaning more on our logic with this. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So let me know. Anybody else in the chat have actually used AI to help them with answering their grant applications? Let me know right now in the chat. Let me know in the chat right now. Have you ever used AI to actually write your grants? Yeah, okay, awesome, awesome. This has been a really, really great like conversation. I love when we come live. Karen says yes once. So shout out to you. Okay, awesome. Okay, that's cool. I love talking about grants. If you guys don't know this yet, but I love talking about small business grants. If this is your first time coming here, thanks so much for being here with me. I'm always talking about small business grant opportunities. And you know, going for grants is actually not hard. You can put it into your day-to-day operations. By me coming live on here, one question that I have for you guys as well, because I know it's only a few people in here. So majority of you guys who are watching me, you usually watch me or you tune in every day. I want to know, what is it that you are looking for when I come on live? I want to know my audience. I want to know what's going on. Because we're pretty much here all the time. You know, you already know, especially like you come here on my live stream every time I come on, you're here. And so you pretty much know I'm saying the same thing over and over again. I might say it in a different way. But I want to know like what makes you stay, right? And I'm asking this question as like as a get to know you, right? I want to understand how I can help serve you better through the live stream, all right? Okay, so the tips to get me involved. Okay, so the tips to get you involved in grant writing. Okay, yep, I do drop some gems in here, so that's really good. That's really, really good. Anybody else know like the reasons for why you come in every day? If you're not an everyday comer, then that's fine. If you don't come on to my, if you don't view my live stream every day, it's fine. But yeah, I just want to know what's going on. Yes. Um, what else was it? It's Thursday, you guys. Tomorrow's Friday. I hope you had so far so good of a really good week. I've been very consistent this week. I'm very proud of myself. I think you have been consistent as well, so you should be proud of yourself as well, okay? I have some new videos that's actually dropping. I have a new video dropping today about a $5,000 grant. Make sure you turn on push notifications so you don't miss that. That should be dropping soon in the next few hours. And then I have some short videos that I did put out there as well. So I did create some smaller short videos for you guys that you can have access to, so you don't have to, watch the full or live stream or whatever. Keep in mind that you can hire me to submit a grant application for you for just $37. Okay, so the code is right here at the top. You can scan that QR code. You can screenshot right now. And especially if you have an iPhone and the QR code will come up for you. $37 affordable grant writing. On average, a grant writer charges between $300 to up to $1,000 per grant application. That's per grant application. There's levels to this. The small grants that I talk about on YouTube versus the state-funded grants, that's a different ballgame. A state-funded grant opportunity requires more documentation, and it is a much longer grant application, right? So, but remember, keep in mind, I said it's less competition, and it's also more of a first-come, first-served opportunity. So, on average, a grant writer does cost money, you understand, but I am offering the $37 sale simply because it's an affordable option, and I want everyone to have a chance at getting a professional grant writer to write grants for them. And it's really to save you the time and hassle. It's really for those of you who are interested in grants, but you simply don't have the time to submit the grant application, so that's what it is, okay? I actually need to apply for a grant. Yeah, absolutely. All right, if you want me to do it, scan this QR code right here, okay, friend? And then just pay the $37, choose a grant from out of the grant list that I have on there, and I'll go ahead and send you an email confirmation, and we'll move forward from there in the email, okay? Really great question. How much does it cost for a federal grant? So that is a quoted price because right now there are some federal grants that require a lot. Matter of fact, I can show you guys one if you want me to show you a federal grant right now. I am applying to a grant for I'm applying for a grant for my client who owns 2 clinics. All right, so he's an actual doctor, him and his wife, and they own a clinic. This is a federally. Let me go ahead and bring it up. Hold on one second. All right, so this is one. So this is a actual federally funded grant. All right, this is a federal funded grant. This grant that I'm applying to, this grant actually does not even, the deadline for this grant doesn't even end until 2029. So this is an annual grant opportunity you can always apply for throughout the entire year. That's how much money is in the pot. There's over $100 million in the pot for this particular grant. Now, this is actually, you can get up to $400,000 with this particular grant opportunity. And so for this federally funded grant, let's see, required application instructions. First of all, you have to create your own login. And I'm just going to go down and show you the documentations that are required. As you can see, for the award budget, it says, your project must not exceed, or a budget that should not exceed $400,000, okay? We're going for a lot more than $400,000 in funding, so that's another thing to keep in mind, but it will be good. This will be a great start to our approvals. These are the eligibility organizations, so it's important, of course, to read that. Let's go to require registration. You have to actually register, so you got to register through sam.gov. You got to register through a totally different third-party site. Get your EIN, UEI number, which is the unique entity identification code. Grants.gov, ERA Commons. You have to register for all 5 of these. And then once you have registered, then you'll be able to apply. I'm just walking you through a federally funded grant, okay? So I'm showing you what it actually takes. Here's content and form of application submission. So this is just a few things that you'll need to have before you decide to actually go and request to apply to this. A letter of intent. All right, so you need to have a letter of what your intentions are. You need to go make sure you have read through the application guidelines, have like a cover page or a cover letter, all that good stuff, a budget plan, a senior and key personnel profile, so they want to know who's on your team, project and performance site locations, all that good stuff. Sub-award budget, cover page supplement, research plan. You need to have that as well. This is a grant for a medical research, so that's why it says like research plan. What else do you have to have? UEI number, we already went over that. Yeah, like I'm actually submitting this grant. This is $400K. Application review criteria. This is pretty much overall information about the actual application itself, and how that entire review and selection process works. I hope you guys get it, because I'm like going through everything. Agency contact. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much the end. So yeah, that's all of this stuff right here is what you need to have. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of 9, 10, 11. All right, 11, 12, 13 pieces of documentation that you need to have before you actually submit this particular grant opportunity for $400,000. You understand what I'm saying? So now that you get it, it is quoted because it depends on what your business mission is. That's why I offer $50 consultations. The client that I'm actually applying to that particular $400,000 grant for that I just showed you here live on YouTube, he paid for the consultation. He sat on a virtual Zoom call with me for 1 hour. We went over what his entire mission is. He wants to expand and like open up more locations and be able to offer like a higher quality of patient care. And so he knows his patients. He's also been in operations for 30 years, like almost 30 years. Yeah, about 30 years. So he's quite established. And as soon as I told him what the quoted price was, it was no problem. Of course, he moved forward the same day. He actually came recommended from one of our, subscribers here who actually tunes in every day. So I want to thank you so much, and I pray for you guys all the time. So that particular client that I have that I'm working with right now on a consistent basis, I have to be able to consistently reach out to you, speak to you. We're in constant communication. $400,000 is not to be played with when we're talking about a grant that literally has hundreds of millions of dollars in the pot, that all you need to do is simply submit all 13 documentations and you pretty much got it. This is that grant that I just showed you, that's $400,000. That grant is not like a competition grant really at all. It's like, are you doing this? Can you show us proof? Can you provide all the documentation that we're requesting? And if you can, and if it looks good and it makes sense, then we'll just go ahead and give you the $400K or what you're budgeting for. Okay? So that's not a grant where it's like, oh, $25,000 UPS grant nationwide for all small business owners. No matter what race, ethnic group, sexuality, religion, or gender you are a part of, you can actually apply to it as long as your company is based in the United States. And you are actually going to be competing against all these numbers and thousands of other grantees that are looking for this $25,000 grant. No, that's a $25,000 grant. It's nationwide. It's for everybody. So the competition is going to be quite higher. This $400K grant, barely anybody is applying to it. That's why the opportunity is open until 2029. Because 13 documentations and you own your own clinic or you're a hospital group, you don't have time. You actually have to hire someone, a grant writer like myself, to actually submit applications and do the full documentation for you, simply because you are saving lives. You are running the actual operation itself. You understand? So that was a really great question. How much does it cost for federal grants? Those type of grant opportunities, like that 400K I just showed you, on average, a grant writer is going to charge you $1,000 for that particular grant application. You see how much it takes to go in, and this is not a thing where it's like, oh, you just need to collect EIN documents. You didn't see that. Oh, you just need to collect the business registration. You didn't see that. They don't need that. It's the federal government. They can simply go to the Department of Corporations through your state, and they can reassure themselves whether you are an active business or not. It's a federal government. It's federally funded. So they don't need you to provide the basic foundational stuff. What they are looking for is, what is this? What is the particular research and development that's going into your actual project that you need to request $400,000 for? That's what they're looking for. So you need to give us a letter of intention. You need to show us your research. You need to tell us where you're doing this research at. So where are you holding what's called clinical trials? You need to explain to us who is a part of this group, who's on the team, because you are not doing this by yourself. So it's not. Okay, sorry you guys. I got like the internet. Sorry. Let me know if I can if you guys can hear me. Let me go ahead and open up my YouTube studio. I'm sorry about that, guys. We're gonna wrap up in a minute anyway, because we've been on here for a little minute. But I just wanted to show you guys what that $400,000 grant opportunity looks like, because going for grants like that, high ticket grants, and you're telling yourself, oh, I need big money. I didn't want to show that to you to scare you. I wanted to show you the realization of going for high ticket grant opportunities and what type of company you need to be in order to be in position for those types of opportunities. Okay, this is not for like, oh, I'm a startup just getting started, we didn't make sales yet or whatever. No, this is literally for those of you who you're already generating revenue and you're ready to go for federal funding. All right, so that's exactly what that's for. So yeah. How to apply? Do you have to? Thanks for coming in. How to apply? Do you have to repay? No. So with small business grants, you don't have to pay them back. So thanks so much for joining in. No, you don't have to pay any grants back. It's a small business grant. It's not a loan or a line of credit. Also, how you can actually apply, you can visit grantwatch.com. So I'll put it here in the chat for you. Grantwatch.com. And you can find grants there. Once you found a grant, then you want to make sure you are properly prepared. At the beginning of the live stream, I went over 7 steps and 7 things that you should actually have before you actually apply to grants. So one of the things is having things like a business plan. You can also tailor your executive summary for each grant that you're submitting. Also, you want to have like a 90-second pitch video that talks about your business. You also want to have like all of your, like a grant folder that has your LLC, EIN number, your pictures, testimonials, all the good stuff. And you do want to have a digital presence. Having a digital presence right now in 2026 is very important. Okay. So that's a really great question. Thanks so much for being here. I hope I answered your question. If you need any additional help for free, make sure you go ahead and drop your additional questions down in the chat. Okay. All right. So you guys get it, right? Yes. Reginald says yes. Thanks so much. Corinne or Karen says yes. Awesome. Awesome. Do we have any other questions? That was a really great question. How much does it cost for federal grants? How to apply? All that good stuff. Oh, let me also tell you something about federal grants. Using AI, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Okay. So that's another thing. Don't even think about it. That this is not one of those things where you use AI. Okay. I want to make sure I answer all of your questions regarding small business grants and how they work and stuff. So yeah, drop your questions in the chat before we get out of here and before I let you go and move forward on your day. If you guys caught my live stream yesterday evening, it was really good. So thanks so much for joining me if you joined me yesterday. Okay. Yes, thank you for this great info. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you all for being here. It's such a pleasure always seeing you in the chat. And blessings to you as well. What else? What else? What else? Anybody else that has something to say? I want to make sure I answer all of you guys' questions. I'm just making sure that I went over everything in this live stream. Tomorrow, I'll be on here again tomorrow. Yes. Great question. Can you get a grant for any kind of a business? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, you can. There is a $150,000 grant out here for, pretty much all small businesses. I talked about it yesterday on my YouTube live stream. Zoom, the virtual, the virtual meeting platform Zoom is giving out $150,000 and also additional resources that you can use. UPS is giving out $25,000 right now. You can literally Google these grants that I'm talking about. UPS is giving out $25,000 to all small business owners and businesses in the United States. You have to be United States based. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. All right. Can you get a grant for any kind of a business? Absolutely. You know what it's all about, friend? Drums Lewis. What it's really all about, friend, is about making sure that your particular grant application, your grant answers align with the grant mission itself. They don't want to fund a business that doesn't have the exact mission and cannot show that you're actually going to use the grant funds. So it's very important that you align your business mission with the grant mission first before you go for it, before you start applying to all of these grants. And then it's like you're not getting approved to any of them. Okay. You don't want to waste any time. You want to go for high probability grant opportunities. So really great question. Next question. Can you get a startup grant with little momentum? Yeah, you can. But for startups, you have a lesser grant opportunity than small businesses. In 2026, most small business grantors want to fund businesses who are actually showing traction and showing growth. So showing growth and showing traction is what it's all about. So that's it's keep that in mind. But yeah, they do have grants for startups. Absolutely. You can visit grantwatch.com to find them. And good morning. Thanks so much for being here with us. Any other last minute questions before I let you guys go for the day? We've been here for like an hour. Is a credit check required? Absolutely not. All right. So you don't have to worry about any credit checks with grants. There's no credit checks. There's no personal information needed, like your social security number at all. You don't have to worry about that. I usually go over this at the beginning, but I know you're just coming in, friends. So I literally start my live stream with that. But no, you don't have to worry about any credit checks, no inquiries, which will drive your credit score down. They don't worry about that. It's not a small business grant is not a debt opportunity, so you don't have to worry about paying it back. Okay, it's free money that you can get to start your business or scale the business that you have. And make sure you visit grantwatch.com in order to find those grants. Okay. Momentum as an income. Yeah, that's what I mean. So grantors are looking for businesses that can show traction. It's not all about income. It's actually all about showing growth. So you might not be making sales right now, but can you actually identify like how you've been able to give out samples of, let's say, your teas or bakeries, cookies and stuff, and that you've received some testimonials, right? So that's what it's all about. All right. Can you show growth? Another question, where can I register for a one-on-one session with you, please? Awesome. If you want to have a $50 one-on-one consultation with me, I'm going to go ahead and put the new QR code at the top corner here. And I just switched it here for you. So if you scan this QR code, if you want to, go ahead and screenshot it right now. Screenshot this code so that way it'll take you directly to the link itself. Also, you can always text the word grants to my number. I'm going to go ahead and put it here inside of the chat for you. Okay. I'm looking for where I put it in the chat so I can bring it back up. Okay, here we go. All right, there you go. Awesome. This is really good information. Free gems. Okay. Awesome. Good. I'm really happy that you guys we're getting somewhere. All right. This QR code that you see right here, you can scan it. You can book a one-on-one consultation with me, and I will go over like what grants your business qualifies for and what you need to have before we actually start applying to them. It's a 1-hour session, and it's so worth it. I also ask you some probing questions to know more about exactly what your business is all about and why haven't you been making sales, or why haven't you reached your goals, or whatever the case may be. No, I'm not one of those small business development coaches that's going to like attack you. No, that's not my whole entire point. Honestly, I just want to know more about your execution style. So that way, hopefully God will order my tongue to be able to convict you to move forward and to be more optimistic and ambitious and, disciplined in the steps that you are taking that can actually help your business grow. Okay. So a lot of us, you guys are starting businesses and you're still working a 9 to 5. And I understand that it can possibly be very challenging for you at this moment to juggle both. You want to play what's called the lukewarm game. So you're staying with your 9 to 5 because it pays your bills, but then you're not giving yourself the full effort of having 100% faith inside of your business idea and, actually going with the flow. Let me tell you something, and I'll tell you a little bit, like a small portion of my story. The last job I had was Capital One. I was a Capital One fraud specialist. I was absolutely amazing in that job. I was one of the first round of people that actually did a work from home job. So this was like, almost like 10 years ago. And Capital One was such an amazing company to work for. They had a lot of perks and deals for us as employees and all that good stuff. I was so good at my job and so well at comprehending exactly the steps that they actually made me the trainer with a trainer within the first 90 days. Now, while they made me a trainer, my pay did not increase, but I did get more leisure on the job. And I was able to train more than 500 new employees that they were coming in. And that was a really great position to have. I was able to learn more about the banking system and how it works, especially on the business side as well. I was able to scale and eventually go on the business credit card side. Okay. So Capital One was the last job I had. Now, I was in a place personally where at the time I'll have my own apartment, but I was also taking care of my two brothers and also my mom. They had to come move in. So we're talking about two grown adults as well as like a growing young man who was like what at the time he was like 12 years old, 13 years old. And that was a lot of mouths to feed in a small 621 square foot apartment, right, in Florida. And we all stayed all together. It was so much pressure and it was just a lot. I paid all the bills. I had to just kind of carry my family afloat. Eventually I got to a point where I had to listen to God. I had to be very obedient. I knew a lot about credit. I knew a lot about how to repair your credit. I had did it for my mom, so I was able to help her move forward and get her own apartment eventually. I repaired credit for my friends. So I knew a lot about the credit system because I was working for Capital One, so it made me more interested, right, in the financial banking space. And then I also knew a little bit about grants, but more so on at the time for like Pell grants and school grants and stuff because I have graduated from college. And long story short, there came a time where I just really got tired of this job. It was an awesome job. There's nothing wrong with that. I loved my entire team, including my managers, but I just got really tired of it. Like really tired of it. Like it's like God put it on me to get so aggravated with doing this job because I was able to see the potential within myself of how I was able to repair my personal credit, my mom's credit, and just like literally change lives in front of me. So I quit my job. And I quit my job literally 2 weeks before I had to actually pay the rent. Yes, I risked having an eviction. So yeah, I ended up having a eviction, a $6,000 eviction on my personal credit. Um, and I went through that challenging time because I sacrificed not paying my rent. I sacrificed not paying any bills at the time. And what I did was I used that money to move into like a smaller like Airbnb, a shared Airbnb, like a kind of like a hostel for women. And I focused 100% on my credit repair business. In the first 30 days, I was able to make $10,000. Do you think I even thought about going back to work? No. And that was almost like, yeah, 10 and a half, 11 years ago. And I don't plan on going back. I was so afraid to leave Capital One. I was getting paid. Matter of fact, Capital One had to be the most high paid job that I had, even compared to when I was working as a phlebotomist in the hospital. Capital One was the highest paid job, and I worked from home. So it was the most easiest, seamless, highest paying job with the greatest benefits that I had ever had in my like young adult life. But I left that job. I sacrificed not paying my rent, which I had my brother still living with me. I went through that, and I had to make some personal changes and actually trust the process, trust God, and have a lot of faith. And in that first 30 days, you guys, I made $10,000. And at the time, this was way before COVID, $10,000 meant $10,000. Okay. So it really helped me out. I was able to get, I didn't have a car or anything. So I was able to get a rental car and just kind of make some moves around the city and just do things like open up a business bank account and move forward from there. I was able to actually save up even more money, pay for my hostel for the rest of the days. And I started like searching for like a small apartment. I moved to another city that was actually cheaper. So I made that sacrifice of no longer staying close to my mom. I just decided to move out of that city so that way I can have more of a peace of mind and be more focused. And I found cheaper apartments that I could move into. I didn't need something fancy. I just needed how I needed to move forward. I was willing to sacrifice, and I was willing to move forward. I was willing to, just keep listening to God and keep moving forward on this dream. I'm telling you this simply because I no longer wanted to be lukewarm. It made me so uncomfortable to continue to work for a company that does not respect my expertise. Um, Even though they're giving me good benefits and stuff, it's still not worth it. I I knew that if I just trusted the process and I put all of my faith and effort into God, in the dream that He has for me and the vision that He has for me, let me tell you how you know it's God telling you that you need to do this. It pricks your heart every day. It pricks your heart every day you go to clock in on that job, and it's like I could literally be like, if that thought comes by and say, I can't believe I clocked in this place once again when I can actually be home making candles and I probably would be a millionaire. And then if you get like this tingly feeling, this convicting feeling in your heart when you think about that, when that thought crosses your mind, and then even if some of you guys are in a place where you are about to tear up every time you think about the potential that you have and how you are wasting that potential at your job. You are at a breaking point, literally, where you are supposed to be operating in your gifts. And you're not operating in your gifts because you are being afraid. In the Bible, it talks about how you are not supposed to be lukewarm. In the Bible, it also talks about how God does not want us to be beggars. In the Bible, it also talks about how the Lord wants us to be fruitful, right? And fruitful in other ways of like He wants us to like have He wants us to have an abundance in finances. He wants us to have a really great life. You understand? So it's not like you playing lukewarm and playing. I understand you guys have families and stuff, but my story that I just told you, I have my family too, and my family was actually living with me, and I sacrificed that, and I was able to still give my mom some money, help her move into another place by quitting that job and not staying on that job and only getting paid, let's say about like $2,000 up to no, how much I was getting paid. I was getting paid like $1,400 because taxes will be taken out. So like $1,400 a check. Like, man, like while the pay was really good, it was it wasn't even it wasn't even half of $10,000. I gave my mom some money and she was able to pay for her new apartment, all of that good stuff. Within that first 30 days, I quit my job. I was so afraid. I was trembling every day, but also I used that energy and turned that energy into actually perseverance, determination, and just like, I'm going to do this. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew that I was this girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody knew. And the first thing that came, because let me tell you something. When you are supposed to operate in your destiny, the devil going to play with your mind too. Like, the devil is definitely going to play with your mind and tell you how you are not worthy. Why would people shop with you? Why would somebody purchase your candles when they could just simply go to Bath and Body Works or Yankee Candle, this, that, and the third? The devil is going to play with your mind, but you have to rebuke it in the name of Jesus, and you have to know the skills. You have to like literally believe that you can do this. You have to quite be a little bit delusional. All right. And so there have been times where when I was working from home, and I was like, oh, why would they trust me? You know what I mean? Why would they trust me to do this? Why would they trust me with their social security numbers and stuff like that? Right. That is not up to you. Trust the process and trust God. Let me tell you something. I put a video out on Instagram, and I said, I was talking about credit. I was like, did you know that you can actually take off evictions, student forgiven off of your credit report? Done that for my mom and my best friend, right? I promise you that video did so well that I got a lot of clients, and I did $50 credit repair. I said, I'll repair your credit. I'll work with you for $50 a month. So I'll have them on a subscription plan. That first 30 days was 10K, but it grew from 10K to 15K to 20K to 20K months and beyond. And that was a consistency. That first year of operations, I made well over mid to high six figures. And I was so shocked. Also, the person who I was dating, who I wasn't even dating him yet, but the person who I was like, friends with at the time, who I ended up dating, who was like an ex, he had a really good following on social media, so he was willing to help me with, posting some of my videos, and he had to trust me. You understand, with me putting my face on his platform, because I could have been a scammer. So he had to trust that I can do it. You understand? And so he gave me some of his cousins and his family members to repair their credit, and I did it for them. And then that was when he got the confirmation that, hey, I'm legit. I had to do some free work along the side too, but I did it for collaboration, and it helped me out. I'm telling you my story simply because I'm hoping that it motivates you to, stay motivated to keep going, and don't allow yourself to get stuck and complacent in that lukewarm phase. I understand during economic times it might be challenging, but what's going on in the world does not have a tail, or does what's going on in the world economically, what's going on in the world does not have anything to do with the destiny that God has for you. Okay. All right. I have done research and I'm going to do contracting, but I know I need to LLC. Is there a grant for the LLC? No. Nope. You have to already have like your LLC. That's like, they're not going to give you money to develop your actual register your company. No. Great question though, but no, they will not. There was a grant that LegalZoom did where they was giving out multiple $10,000 grants, and then they would give you a $500 credit for you to be able to get an LLC for free using their platform. But they stopped doing that because they want you to be a legit business. You know what I'm saying? So no, I should have said startup. No, it's okay. You are actually not a startup. You are in what's called the idea phases, friend. So I know a lot of you guys may think that you being a startup is actually you being you like have not having an LLC and stuff. No, you are in what's called the idea phases because you have not registered your company. You haven't started it. So you didn't register it. You don't have a business bank account. You don't even have a website or any internet presence yet. So you're not a startup. A startup is a business. A startup is a stage of a business that has already registered its company, has an EIN, has a business bank account, and you have a internet presence at least. And I didn't say you're making sales. You're just actually starting your business and you are in startup phases. A small business is a small business that actually has generating revenue and everything that I just said. Okay. I have an S corp. Is there grants for me? Yeah, a S corp. By you having an S corp, nonprofit, whatever your organization or whatever your how you register your organization or your company, that has nothing to do with determining how many grants or if there's grants available. Yes, there is a grant available for you. Okay. I have a business bank account. Congratulations. Go for grants. Why not? If I have a nonprofit versus a LLC, which will be more profitable? Both of them have equal opportunities. Really great question. Both of them have equal opportunities in the grant world. Okay. It all depends on your grant mission. If you have a nonprofit that only helps business owners, let's say, learn about, or not business owner, but if you have a nonprofit that only teaches financial literacy for your local community, then who knows how many grants available there is for that. You might have a business where it's a child care facility, or you might help persons with disabilities. So it all depends on your mission for each, but they both have equal opportunities. So not one has more opportunities than the other. Gratefully is pure genius, broken down and obtainable. We give all glory to God. It ain't me. Okay. It ain't me. It's all glory to God. All right. So anything else? This was like really good. Very motivating, right? Very, very motivating. Yeah. Which is the best nonprofit type to start, please? Um, it, so that all determines on what you want to do and what your mission is. Because that's actually, I'm going to say this respectfully. I don't like questions like that because you're only opening up the nonprofit specifically so you can make more money. And that's not what they're looking to fund. They can tell when you do that. They can tell when you open up a nonprofit that only helps homeless people so you can get as much as the federal funding. And so that way you can finesse the federal funding into putting the money into your bank account. No. They want to fund those nonprofits that you have a mission, like you have a reason for why. One second. You have a reason for why you do certain things. You have a story to tell, and they don't want that. They don't want that. All right. So that's a really great question. Which is the best nonprofit type to start? Anyone that really interests you and you have a story to tell. Okay. There are some nonprofits out here that are for women who have went through domestic violence situations, and you might be a woman that has went through a domestic violence situation, and that's why you started your nonprofit, and you want to be able to create that safe space and also offer resources and mentorship and wellness coaching and stuff for those women. And because you have actually experienced it and you can tell your story, and by you having a storyline and telling a time where you went through a problem and you created a solution for it, that just looks much stronger when you're getting funded for a nonprofit. Also, keep in mind, when you do a nonprofit, getting funding for your nonprofit is totally different than going for your for-profit business. Nonprofits need to focus more on doing like charity events. That's what you're supposed to get money from there. You need to create a dinner, a luncheon. You need to get some rich folks in your area into this dinner, and you need to invite them via email, LinkedIn, with friends of a friend. You need to get these people in the room, and you need to go around the room with a really nice tuxedo or dress on, and you need to go ahead and get those donations. And you need to make sure you get a donation of at least $5,000 before they walk out of there. That's what you focus on. Nonprofits actually make more money by doing charity events versus going for, and then of course you go for grant opportunities as well. But grants is like number 2 or 3 on the list of income, nonprofit income. I hope you knew that. I hope y'all knew that. If you didn't know that, you could drop it in the chat. But yeah, that's how that works. I know a lot of us is like, oh, I think I want to go for nonprofits because they have more grants available, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. You are actually supposed to be. You need to be ready to have a dinner. You need to do like a summer blast luncheon somewhere in Miami, Florida, and get these rich people engaged from Palm Beach County. You understand? That's how that works. But really great question. I'm trying to text you guys back. Some of you guys are texting, but it's like I can't log in. It's so annoying. That's why it says scan the QR code, because it's just so much better. So much better when you scan the QR code. Let me see. I have a grant writing service sale right now where I will apply to one grant for you for just $37. See later. And the QR code is right here. I just changed the QR code for you. So you have it there. Oh, hey, Chanel. Thanks so much for being here. Nonprofit makes more money from donors. That's why donor cultivation is so important. Absolutely. And it's way better to to get donations and do that whole process, because you literally put yourself in rooms with multi-millionaires and billionaires. You understand? So like your nonprofit will never run dry. You have friends. That's what they mean by friends. You have friends. Oh, I have this friend that actually owns an auto sales company that has that owns like 50 auto sales companies across the United States of America, from California all the way to Miami. And they invest into our nonprofit. They usually invest about $2 million a year. It helps them out on taxes. You get friends, and it's very important. And this determines on your presentation. That matters a lot. I have been in those rooms. I'm in those rooms because like when I come back to the United States, I'll be back really soon. I'm actually going to make a post about it so you guys can do. I think I want to do like Um, I'll be in Miami, so I'm based in Miami, so I'm coming back home to Miami. Um, but when I get back home to Miami really soon, um, yeah, I'm going to be in those rooms. I already have some like aligning up some meetings with people like that because it's important. You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, this is good. Can we purchase the grant writing service now and use it when we're ready? Um, yeah, yeah. I'd rather you be ready. But yeah, are you talking about the $37 deal? But yeah, you can. Absolutely. Um, the grants that I have listed on the actual $37 offer, because I when you go on there and you click the link, when you go through the QR code that I just posted, and you're going to choose the grant that you want to use, and I'll just go through the actual grant itself and to see if you like what you actually need for that particular grant. So you'll be surprised, you might actually be ready for that grant that I have on the grant list right now. But yeah, you can purchase. I just purchased it and I'm extremely excited. Hey, shout out to you, friend. Thanks so much. I'm going to send you an email confirmation, so just hang on tight. I've been literally trying to open up my CMS system right now so I can try to text you guys back, because some of you guys are texting me and it's like it's so annoying that it's not allowing me to log in. Maybe I have to like restart my devices. Yeah, I don't like Apple updates. You know what I mean? Like I just don't trust them anymore. It's Am I the only one? I don't trust Apple's updates anymore because like every time I update it, it's just I feel like the amount the for Apple subscriptions just go up as long as well as alongside with it. I don't know. I have this weird thing about it. I have this weird thing about it. So yeah, no. Okay. No. Um Awesome. Amen. All right. So I'm going to but I want to have my things together, like a business plan, etc. Okay, well, actually, so the grants that I have listed on there, you actually don't need a business plan to upload, so you'll be ready. But you can always book a consultation with me, or you can email me your business plan, whatever you have drafted up, and I can tell you if it's good or not. I do that for free. I do that for free. I'm always here to help you guys. Hey, friend, welcome in. Thanks so much for being here. So happy you guys are here with me. I don't know what's going on. Uh, what's my email? My email is on my is on my channel. But wait, what do you want the email for first? Because I don't want you guys to start emailing me like crazy. All right, Miss Chanel, she's gonna email me once she makes the purchase, and she will actually receive my email, and she could just respond to the confirmation email. So that's what's gonna happen here. But yeah. What's how can I help? How about that? Let's start there. You guys, I really can't get in my text messages. I'm actually, let me just see if I can. I use Go High Level, if you guys know what Go High Level is. And I'm going to reach out to the team because I'm trying to figure out why is it, it's like, what's going on here? Yeah. Oh, okay. They're updating their system. That's what's going on. Your business plan? Oh, okay, cool. I would like to review your business plan only if you decide that you want to move forward with grant writing. Yeah, because imagine that I have to read everybody's business plan, even though I said I do it for free, but it's like I only do it for my clients, and Chanel is becoming a client. Um, yeah, so they're redoing there. That's okay. Sorry, guys. If you are texting me, just want to let you know that the system is updating. So I'll probably text you. It'll be the evening time for me, but it'll be like afternoon for y'all. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sending them like an email letting them know. Sorry, guys. All right. So if there's no further questions, I was trying to give y'all some time. I'm also going to send the confirmation email over to our friend here while you guys write your last questions. Well, please write your last minute questions in the chat. Get to some consultations. Some of you guys have booked consultations too. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, no worries at all. Regarding logging, your account is currently under review by our team. We are actively looking into what may have caused the access problem, especially since you are able to log successfully without following the team today. Okay, awesome. Because it's like I don't understand. I was perfectly fine. Let's see. Okay. All right. So $37. Here we go. Okay, my friend, I want to reassure you that you submitted for only one grant submission. So I don't know if you wanted me to apply to all three of these grants you chose, or if you want, because I only see it here for the purchase for one. So let me just double check before I send this email out to you. Yeah, it says, because you would have to increase the quantity if you wanted three grants. So you would have to increase it to three. So you just let me know. But you already paid for one. Yeah, I'm just making sure I have the correct email. Your iCloud email is what I'm emailing. And that is to Michelle H. Um, I'm sending you an email right now on the next steps. You can respond to my email as well. Okay. Thank you, Shelby. I wish I had known about your credit repair. Yeah, I did that. I did credit repair a long time ago. I did that a long time ago. I did that a long time ago. I no longer do credit repair. I had to elevate from there. Trust me, it was so I literally sold that business. I sold it and moved forward to this business. Where can I find the link for grant services? This so this QR code, you can screenshot it, you can scan it and purchase. You can shoot me a text, but I won't be able to text you until later. And yeah, if you want me to write multiple grants for you, this like $37 grant sale is only for specific grants, and it's only for like it's like an affordable grant writing service. So it's not going to be for like grants that are like $400,000, like the grant that I showed you guys earlier. If you didn't get a chance to see it in this live stream, but so if you want me to apply to like let's say 30 grants for you, then we need to have a consultation because I need to know more about your entire mission, and I need to actually do a grant search to reassure that we have about that many grants available now. And also I need to tell you what it all entails, what documentations I need, how long it's going to take me to submit those 30 grants, let's say, things like that. So that's a quoted price. So if you're looking for something like that, because it's more than just like, let's say you're going for $1 million in grant funding, it's way more than just having a business plan, pitch deck, and a pitch video. There are certain research documents, profit loss statements, tax documentations, whatever other documentations that we might need necessarily, like letter of intent, grant proposals, specific grant proposals, alongside with an executive summary, right? Expense sheet, right? So there's like, and I'm just going over a few. Each grant requires different things. But if you want me to write multiple grants for you with higher um, chances of approvals, let's say, that's not like a lot of like competitors like these grants for $37, something that's more direct, targeted, and aligned with your mission, then that is a quoted price that we actually need to get on a meeting. Okay, so yeah, that's more like it's much more deeper than just what I'm talking about here. Like my current client, who I'm going for the $400,000 grant that I talked about earlier, he owns two medical clinics, and based out of Florida. He's been in business for 30 years. He doesn't have time to apply to grants, and he knows that there's grant money. So he's just like, yeah, I just need you to do this for me because I don't have time. Here's my number as well. You can text this number as well. Okay. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're very welcome. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go. In about 5 minutes, I have to get on a Zoom call. Someone paid for this consultation, so we must be mindful. I really do appreciate you guys hanging in with me. I mean, a 2-hour live stream. Wow, I didn't even know we went over time like that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is my number here. So Musa Moti or Muti, how can I get in contact with you for a grant consultation? You can text this word grants, and then I'll send you my direct consultation link. It is $50 for the consultation, okay? So I'm going to get on a consultation with someone who paid $50 as well, like overnight. And I have a few more consultations today. So it's that one-on-one time that they pay for. So we're going to be mindful of that. I am going to see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on here live on YouTube, 8 a.m. Eastern time is usually when you can catch me on here, fresh on here, on live on YouTube. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Bye-bye for now.